Hi there, welcome back to the Stonksy indicator channel. Please do make sure you are subscribed and you've got the notifications turned on. So today I am long on the BloFin exchange. You'll find a link to BloFin in the description of this video and also on the Stonksy website as well. Please do use that one to get the maximum bonuses and cheaper fees. Now I did enter this trade at $103,005.6, and I did do this with more money than I intended to, and also my leverage was higher than I intended to, but I'm going to see if I can get away with it. But let's just take a look at the chart. Okay, so this is Bitcoin USDT perpetual with Bybit as a data source, and I'm just going to pop on Stonksy and I'm going to put it on the 1 hour time frame and just show you what's been happening. So Stonksy had been long on the 1 hour since Wednesday the 7th of May, early in the morning, and I had ridden this price all the way up to about here, and my trade did close when it hit a stop loss that was in profit yesterday, which was the 12th of May, and I have just re-entered at 103,000. So why have I done that? Because the background is still red. I've done that because on the 5 minute the background has gone green and we've got the confirmation arrow. For your information, the way I've got the arrow set is with the bullish bearish arrow settings with the sensitivity on 8 and the confirmation period on 1. Okay, I found this quite good for the 5 and 6 minute strategy that I'm using here. So far this is looking good. Now I have got a lot of confidence in Stonksy on that 5 minute time frame when you've got the green background and the green arrow. Nevertheless, I think it's only sensible that I set a stop loss here just in case the price does wick back for some reason, because as we know at the moment the price of Bitcoin is very, very news driven, and there's going to be quite a lot of news today as well, so I want to make sure that I don't lose any money. So I'm just going to set a stop loss. I'm going to be sensible, just put it in profit a little bit here and see what happens. But so far the trade's looking okay. We're now 7.71% in profit, which is $440. But of course the price is not going to go up in a straight line, so it would have been better to use a smaller amount and then allow some wiggle room with your stop loss. But as I've gone in pretty heavy, I think I'm going to leave it as it is, and hopefully we'll get up to this level here fairly soon at 104,000. Now of course what would be ideal would be if the green background appeared on the 1 hour time frame. If that happened now, I'd be really confident, like double confident about the price going up. The only thing that makes me slightly wary is we're not that far from the all-time high, so obviously there's going to be resistance at the all-time high, and you know it's not going to be a super easy journey to get back there. There's always going to be people taking profit and people trying to short the top as well, so that's going to create some resistance. So what I like to do, I like to use these labels here on the 1 hour time frame. So to do that, I go to the settings in Stonksy and I set the higher time frame to monitor to 1 hour. So what that means is you see these labels as if you're looking at the 1 hour time frame. So if we look at the 1 hour time frame, you can see here that we're currently short because it went red at about 5 p.m. last night. So I would love to see this go green, and there's something else that appeared last week that I loved as well, was the background went green and then you saw this green confirmation arrow there as well. Now that doesn't often appear on the 1 hour time frame, so if we see one of those later, that's a really good sign. Let's just check on the trade. Now I'm going to resist moving this stop loss because that is one of my problems. I tend to put the stop loss too near the current price, and sometimes a small bit of volatility will close my trade. Actually, there is something that you can do in this circumstance that might be a better idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set a partial stop loss. So let's remember 103,118. Get rid of that and come here, partial 103,118, and I'm going to set that amount to about half. So I've got a stop loss there, but now if it wicks back there, it will close half the trade, which is okay because I'm actually trading with a rather large amount because I've got it on 25x leverage and I'm using $5,000 of margin. So it's actually giving a position size of 129,000 USDT, which is obviously a lot of money, which makes me slightly nervous. Do also bear in mind, if you're using large positions like that, do check on your realised profit and loss, because at the moment it's cost me about $51 to open that trade. And part of the reason for that might be the current funding rate, which is a little bit high. It's normally 0.01, it's now 0.0148, which does imply there are more people going long rather than short. So going long might not be the best option at the moment, but so far Stonksy says it is. Now then, it's worth keeping an eye on any external factors that might change the price, and I like to look on fxstreet.com and just take a look at what's going on. Also, you can set this in your own time zone as well, which I find handy. So I'm actually GMT +1. So you can see here that at 1:30 we've got all this CPI data here. When it has impact as being red, that's normally quite serious. So obviously that could shake the market around a little bit. Bearing that in mind, I just want to put some extra safeguards in place. Now, I think at this point, I am going to move the stop loss up a little bit there. And I think I'm also going to set a trailing stop loss as well to close the entire position. I'm going to do that just by measuring this distance here, which is about 0.3%. And then I'm going to set a trailing stop loss here for the entire position at 0.3%. Now, I really am hoping that none of those get hit and the price goes much, much higher. Now, I've done this now because I'm going to go out for a couple of hours and I won't be able to look at the charts. The sensible thing to do, of course, would be to just close the trade, take profit and be happy that I've got $483. But I am hopeful that we might get a green background on the 1 hour on Stonksy. So far we haven't. Actually, bearing that in mind, I might just pull this stop loss down a little bit just to give it a little bit of room. And it is, of course, very possible that I might make much less than $512, but I do want to give myself the option of making a lot more. Actually, this is all looking pretty healthy so far, so I think I might actually change that trailing stop, move it a bit lower, and maybe not have it the entire position, but maybe if I remove that and then make it half, so I've got the normal stop loss there, then I'll have another trailing stop loss a bit lower for the moment for the other half. I think that's probably a safe thing to do. So let's do that again. So let's go for something like a 0.46% distance with the trailing stop loss. So trailing stop, I'm going to do partial position, okay. So I'm going to do 0.46 and I'm going to do that for half the amount. I think that might be a fun way to do it. So you can see now this one here is going to close $64,736 worth of position, and the regular one is going to close $64,532 worth of the position. So that's fine. So there's nothing to worry about really now. I can just go out and it's pretty much guaranteed that I'll make some money. Whether it's $627 or more, I don't know. Anyway, the time now is 11:54 in the UK. I'll be back about 2. So let's see how it did. Now, when I got back, I went straight on the live stream with Dave. If you're not coming over to the live stream every day on the Stonksy Indicator channel, you really should, because we talk about a lot of good stuff there and a lot of random stuff as well, but it's all good fun. So please do come over there. It's usually 1 p.m. UK time, so that's like midday UTC. Anyway, this is what I talked about when I got back about this trade. So I actually set the trading stop at break even, and obviously what it did was it must have pulled it all the way up here, and when you got that spike on the CPI data, when it went up to 103,914, it must have gone up there, and I guess the stop loss was just behind it, and then it pulled back there. Which way did it go? Did it go up first or down first, or
what, CPI?
Yeah.
It went up first, then went
Right.
down, and then went back up.
Okay, so what that would have done, that would have gone up there. It would have taken the stop loss with it, and I think there was like a, I don't know, it was probably only a few $100 sort of thing. So it came back down here, closed it, and then now it's left it with. I've got half the cash still available, so there's 2,763 there, and the other 2,557 is in the margin there. So now the position size is a mere 64 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But that worked out really well because I mean, it was just because I just had to do it so that I could sort of relax and not have to look at my phone all the time while I was out.
Yeah.
And 9.5%, but that was $244. So that's what I've taken this morning. And then the trade is now 315 in profit. So that's working out all right, isn't it?
Yeah, and something to obviously just touch on there a bit more is just just doing a simple moving your stop loss up to break even or entry soon after. You've not had that trade open too long, have you? But
No,
you've got your stop loss in profit, so the trade is obviously going to pay you if you get stopped out, but you're not at risk of having like a really good green trade turning into a red one. Then do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
just getting into that habit of just removing the risk from the market and also paying yourself. You've already paid yourself 154, but even if you get stopped out, that's another 102.
Yeah, and what I'll probably do, because obviously we're going to expect some sort of volatility at 2:30 as well, so at New York Open. So I mean, I was quite lucky that this didn't come down here and hit that stop as well. But I might, I can move that back to break even now because I've already taken profit, so that will give enough wiggle room. And at the very worst, I've still got about $150, $160 or something. So I think that's quite a good little trade actually. Okay, so what actually happened was I kept the trade open for a little while. The price of Bitcoin did come down, which I wasn't totally expecting that because the CPI data was actually good. It did actually come down and hit my stop loss. It hit the stop loss at 11 minutes past 3 in the afternoon, which is okay. It did make just 1.93% because I'd already moved that stop loss down just to demonstrate in a live stream. If I'd have left it where it was, it would have made more money, but nevertheless, I was just demonstrating. But it did make $49, which is okay. So overall, it would have been better to close the trade when it was looking nicely in profit before I went out. But I wanted to take the chance on the price going up a lot and remaining in the trade, which, could have worked out, but this time it didn't. Nevertheless, I did make about $300 trading with a margin of about $5,000. And indeed, if I'd have closed the trade before I went out, I would have made twice that. And that is a trade that only lasted like a few hours. So if you can do that every day, that's amazing. I couldn't have done that without Stonksy, so I think that's a great reason to get Stonksy. So do check out Stonksy if you haven't got it already. Do come over to the live streams every day. I'll be there with Dave talking about stuff, trying out trading ideas, looking at Stonksy and getting a feel for the market. If you like the sound of that, please do give the video a big fat like. Any questions, leave them in the comments. And above all, tell your friends.